Why go with the CPI when you could go straight to a private vendor?
The CPI, the Civic Protection Institute, is a not-for-profit social enterprise organization that provides procurement services to public safety and police departments.
The CPI is a buffer between police chiefs and boards and the private security industry. The CPI protects the police brand and public trust.
The buffer is an organization that allows the vetting and the quality control of private security services, while at the same time establishing some kind of a consistent level of standards and services.
And I think that's why CPI will make a valuable contribution, because as a leader, every time you contract a private company, you shouldn't have to go through the agony of doing an evaluation and an audit to see what standard they're at and how capable they are and what their backgrounds are, for example. It would be nice if that was done for you.
The not-for-profit CPI holds the knowledge to train new contractors and thus allows no one contractor to become dominant or indispensable.
So one of the issues you have with private sector and security departments in particular is you can't always be assured of the competency levels or the training levels or the selection standards. There's no national standard for that. So what is missing is the ability to go into a private organization and say, okay, we need these standards, we need to make sure they're there, we need to be sure that you're in compliance. So we need an organization to do that. That's what the CPI does, is it provides the compliance auditing.
That's a standard from Newfoundland to Vancouver Island.
One is I do like the not-for-profit model. I think it allows an understanding of where the money will be spent and an understanding of how the service will be provided that isn't always found within the corporate model, like some security firms. I think secondly, we've continued to look at the alternative service delivery model in the true form of security that we've seen in a mall and in a little bit increased level at an airport, without having a true understanding of what level of service they can provide. Whereas I think CPI provides the opportunity to be proactive, to actually go in and say, you know what, here's the deal. You set the benchmarks. You tell us what you expect from people doing that work in your organization, and we'll meet those benchmarks. We believe we can meet that work. We can do it at a lower cost. As a result, you can reinvest your savings back into frontline policing, which is where they should be putting their savings and should be putting their money in the first place.
So what we really need to do, I think, in the police area is to really stay ahead of the trends, stay ahead of the criminals, find ways to keep our community healthy, and focus on those efforts and allow for the non-essential stuff to be done by organizations like, for example, the CPI.
Large publicly traded multinational security contractors can be subject to hostile takeovers, and privately held corporations can be sold. In both cases, the public could find themselves doing business with an unacceptable partner, anything from a foreign state-owned enterprise to organized crime.
I can't put myself in the seat of a police chief, but I certainly speculate that I'd be pretty happy if I could fill some of my gaps and some of the slack I could pick up with people that I didn't have to worry about. Am I making the right decision, handing this task over to this particular private security firm?
CPI has no shares to sell and can't be taken over or sold. It is the buffer that protects police and the public. The CPI is transparent in its processes and governance through its growing board of directors that already includes notable Canadians with exemplary backgrounds in policing and public safety, like retired General MacKenzie and Senator Vernon.